not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors, and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience.
Well, hello YouTube, Louie here with an unboxing that I'm actually really excited to show you guys. It just came yesterday from the US Mint, and I'm not sure many people are buying this, but this is my all-time favorite president, and I really wanted to have one. So bear with me and I'll show you what it is. Hold on. They are going to be releasing 4 of these medals a year and commemorating each of our United States presidents. And as you might imagine, the very first of those is going to be George Washington, the father of our country. There he is. I ordered this right away when it came out. This is 999 silver, the new presidential series, which don't get too excited because there's no mintage cap, no family order limit, no product limit. But how could you not want to get the very first medal in the presidential series, starting with my all-time favorite president, George Washington. So we're going to see it for the first time together. Hopefully it doesn't fall out of here. Oh, there it is, guys. Look at the size of that thing. That is just an awesome image. I got to take that out of there. Wow. I think it was about $39. Don't quote me on that. I think it was about $39, and because I have ordered before from the US Mint this year, I'm part of their free shipping program, and shipping was free. So anyway, that was an advantage to not have to pay for shipping on this medal. A little hard to get out of there. This is quite an unusual finish. I see a little ding on the capsule. Quite an unusual finish, but really quite beautiful. It almost looks burnished. So it says George Washington, President of the United States, 1789. All right. And on the reverse, peace and friendship. The second medal in the series has also been released at the same time, and that is John Adams. So feel free to pick that one up as well. But let's see if there's anything on the edge. Wow, and that is, that appears to be a plain edge. I don't think I see any reading, but look at the size of that 1 ounce 999 silver medal. Look at how big that is. Let's see if I have anything handy. Here we go. Just to compare it to a 1 ounce prospector round, oop, don't scratch your capsule. It sure comes across as large. Maybe it's the capsule itself making it look large, but I think that is larger than a typical round or a silver eagle. But wow, look at that. That's nice. I love that image of Washington. I really, you know, my favorite president. I have read his all of his biographies, and if you'll bear with me, after I show you this coin, I'm going to show you a series I did on George Washington of his thoughts and his advice and words to live by right after this. It's a great excuse to talk and think more about our president. You'd be surprised some of the things this gentleman thought. And we have Not the typical coin flip. This is a metal reverse, so very nice. Now, it was last year, or was it the year before, that when they started doing metals, they were quite popular and lucrative because there were mintage caps. For the presidential set here, they've decided to have no mintage cap, which is always a mistake, in my opinion. But that does not mean that they'll mint it forever. That does not mean that everyone will buy it. And that does not mean that it will not appreciate in value. However, I bought this one for, love of the president and the country and the beauty of the product. So there you go. Hope you'll consider getting one as well. And stay tuned for thoughts and wisdom from our former president. Thanks, everybody. Louie out. Hey guys, Louie here. Well, I have a treat for you today. I bought a special bar to commemorate one of my favorite people in history, if not my most favorite, and that is George Washington. There he is, and at the end of this unboxing, I have a dedication to our president, our first president, in that I will be doing his notable quotes and images of the day. But before I do that, I bought this piece specifically to honor this individual who, I read his biography and all 1,000 pages. And quite the remarkable man, almost otherworldly. I mean, in terms of what he did for the country and who he was as a person. And that is why I picked up this. This, I think, is the most beautiful and striking image of George Washington. Unfortunately, he's got a little black dot on his cheek there. But I love this image of a young, strong George Washington. Let's see, this was produced in 1987, I believe. Who is the mint? We're probably seeing that, the Madison Mint, I believe. Yes, the Madison Mint, and I don't know much about the Madison Mint, but I think these are beautiful, beautiful art bars. Wonderful tribute to our first president. Like I was saying, I have read his biography, and one could say that he lived a blessed life. He lived an important life, and he contributed more to the country than probably any single person that I can think of. And he truly was the father of the country. He did not have children of his own. And he was blessed with a very long life, which was quite unusual in the day. But some said that he could not be killed. There are stories, actually, when he was fighting Native Americans in our new country, and he rode into battle on a giant white horse. Of course, he was an enormous man himself, of great stature, and dressed obviously as an officer. And he rode into battle on a giant white stallion and directing his men in the front of the battle. And he, over and over again, he was in the front ranks of the battle. And the Indians took note of the striking gentleman on the giant white horse and immediately surmised that he was the leader of the army, or the cavalry, I'm not sure which it was. And they set about the task of trying to kill him. So the chief ordered all of the braves to shoot at young George Washington. And though they tried and tried and tried, they could not hit him. And from there on after, he was known in Indian legend as the white man that could not be killed. They thought he had some kind of special protection. There are many, many other really, really cool stories about George Washington and his biography. But he definitely made a difference in our country's life. So I'm going to take you on to the tribute now, but there's this beautiful art bar. Love having that in my collection. And now let's move on to his notable quotes. Okay, and other comments about currency and fiat dollars and so forth I thought you would find interesting. I hope you enjoy this little history lesson.
This article is entitled Founders No Fans of Paper Currency, courtesy of nationalreview.com and DeRoy Murdoch. And he talks about if the founding fathers were brought to the current day Bureau of Engraving and Printing and they saw giant sheets of greenbacks spinning off the presses, it would dazzle their eyes, but it would also be quite upsetting. George Washington wrote to Thomas Jefferson on August 1st, 1786, "Paper money has had the effect in your state that it will ever have to ruin commerce, oppress the honest, and open the door to every species of fraud and injustice." Paper is poverty, Jefferson in turn observed in 1788. It is only the ghost of money, and not money itself. In 1817, the author of the Declaration of Independence wrote that paper money's abuses also are inevitable and, by breaking up the measure of value, make a lottery of all private property. Paper money is unjust, declared James Madison, chief architect of the Constitution. It is unconstitutional, for it affects the rights of property as much as taking away equal value in land. Alexander Hamilton, America's first Treasury Secretary, warned, "To emit an unfunded paper as the sign of value ought not to continue a formal part of the Constitution, nor ever hereafter to be employed, being in its nature pregnant with abuses and liable to be made the engine of imposition and fraud, holding our temptations equally pernicious to the integrity of government and to the morals of the people." Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. Happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. To be prepared for war is one of the most effectual means of preserving peace. The very atmosphere of firearms anywhere and everywhere restrains evil interference. They deserve a place of honor with all that's good. Observe good faith and justice towards all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. The foolish and wicked practice of profane cursing and swearing is a vice so mean and low that every person of sense and character detests and despises it. Leniency will operate with greater force in some instances than vigor. It is therefore my wish to have all of my conduct distinguished by it. Someday, following the example of the United States of America, there will be a United States of Europe. Religion is as necessary to reason as reason is to religion. The one cannot exist without the other. A reasoning being would lose his reason in attempt to account for the great phenomena of nature. He has not a supreme being to refer to, and well has it been paid that Well has it been said that if there has been no God, mankind would have been obligated to imagine one. It will be found an unjust and unwise jealousy to deprive a man of his natural liberty upon the supposition he may abuse it. I know of no pursuit in which more real and important services can be rendered to any country than by improving its agriculture, its breed of useful animals, and other branches of its husbandman's care. The Constitution, which at any time exists, till changed by an explicit and authentic act of the whole people, is sacredly obligatory upon all. To form a new government requires infinite care and unbounded attention, for if the foundation is badly laid, the superstructure must be bad. The tumultuous populace of large cities are ever to be dreaded. Their indiscriminate violence prostrates for all time all public authority, and its consequences are sometimes extensive and terrible. Gentlemen, you will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have grown not only gray but almost blind in the service of my country. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. The hand of Providence has been so conspicuous in all this that he must be worse than an infidel that lacks faith, and more than wicked that has not gratitude enough to acknowledge his obligations. The foundations of our national policy will be laid in the pure and immutable principles of private morality, and the preeminence of free government be exemplified by all the tributes which can win the affections of its citizens and command the respect of the world.